My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. What we have right now is Hurricane Francine coming through the area. Outside of the forest here, we have winds over 45 miles an hour. Inside of the forest here, it's quite a bit less. But I'll be honest, the breeze, it feels good. As far as the temperature goes today, we're looking at 55 degrees with a good breeze. Perfect conditions, my friends, perfect. At the moment, everyone, it's dry, but later on tonight, supposedly, it's going to begin to rain. First things first, we need to get a tarp up so we can have protection just in case it begins raining, but also to get us out of the wind. While this is nice and comfortable after a long hike, as soon as I cool down, it won't be. As you all can see here, I have the tarp set up. This is what is known as storm mode. The backside is staked down towards the ground. The side walls are going down. With this opening, we have it facing away from the wind. That way, all of the wind is coming this direction over the top. Meaning, I could be under here and be fully protected. Again, this is what you would call a storm mode setup. And that is certainly what we need as we have a storm on the way. What I should do before it gets too much later is go ahead and set up my tent. We are about an hour away before sundown, so it will be getting dark soon. Now that we have the tent set up, might as well set up the sleeping bag and sleeping pad. Let's wrap all of this up so we can enjoy the night. This, my friends, is a tent that I've wanted to test out for a long time, but it's been simply too expensive until they had a Labor Day sale. This is a tent from KUIU, and I have to say, this is one of the best looking tents I have ever seen. I really do love the color combination. It looks sick. At the same time, I really do like the design of this tent. This is a 2-person tent that is very lightweight. I have carbon fiber poles here, folks. Oh yes. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel, as I will have multiple videos about this in the future. Let's do some multiple choice, shall we? It is 7:09, and the question is, should I have coffee or not? There are two possible answers. A, yes. B, no. The correct answer, of course, is A. Yes, we need to have coffee. If you answered A, you get 10 cool points. It's always coffee time, folks, and it's definitely coffee time now. This is some fantastic coffee. To all of the viewers who sent this in, I'm not even sure who it was, there's so much of it, but thank you so much for keeping me caffeinated. I really do appreciate it. Cheers to every single one of you. I was hoping to have a fire tonight, but it's simply too late. It's too late to go out and collect a bunch of firewood. I just didn't have enough time. As it stands right now, it is about 7:30. And the sun officially goes down at 7:40. As you can see already here in the forest, it's already pretty dark. It's pretty windy out there. I wonder how strong the winds will get tonight. The last forecast that I saw said around 45 miles an hour, which is pretty windy. Luckily, here in the forest we have a lot of protection, so I should be in pretty good shape. Truth be told, I'm more interested in the rain. How much rain are we going to receive? I don't know. I'm not even going to look at the forecast. We'll just see what happens. All that I know is that rain is supposed to come in after midnight. That's all I know. There is something else that I know, folks. The other night, Susie and I went and saw Beetlejuice. That movie was awful. It was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I was ready to walk out after the first 20 minutes. I sat there the whole time for Susie. I should have known it was bad because there was only one other person in the theater. Oh man, that movie. I can't say that I'm a huge Beetlejuice fan, but the first one was definitely better than this one. This was awful. Have you all seen it? If so, comment down below, share your thoughts. There is no right or wrong answer. I'm not gonna get mad if you like that movie. I will ask you what's wrong with you, but you know, I won't get mad. In all seriousness, something that I do know is this. Recently, One Tigress brought out their new camp table. In the past, with their previous camp tables, they were fantastic. Fairly lightweight, very good quality, and the products made sense as far as like backpacking and camping goes. Well everyone, the company just released the brand new version of that table, and unfortunately, it's not that great. The weight has gone up to almost 3 pounds. 3 pounds, folks. The last table that I reviewed, which is very similar to the older version of the One Tigress table, the Odo Land table, that weighed 1.5 pounds. The new table weighs almost 3 pounds. You may be thinking to yourself that weight doesn't matter, and that's fair enough. Here's another problem, the real problem with this table. It's complicated and slow to put it together. Unfortunately, the frame is not all one piece. The frame system is like 8 pieces or something, and it takes a while to get all of that together. In the end, it's not a deal breaker, none of those are deal breakers, but it's another questionable design from one Tigris. Lately, they've just been bringing up these products that really just don't make a lot of sense. For an example, the Big Bear backpack duffel bag thing, it doesn't even have a handle in the center of it. So like if you're using it as a duffel bag, you fill it up, you have to grab it from the side and then turn it sideways, and everything on the inside will shift and fall around. The same can be said with the Mona tent. The company claims it's a 3-season shelter, but it's not. It's too hot to use in the summertime. I don't know. I'm just not really sure what One Tigris has been thinking lately. Over the years, I've said a lot of good things about that company and their products, but for some reason, this year, they've been off kilter, off balance. What they're doing just does not make any sense. Plus, I've heard from 2 different people, different situations, but they had to get returns. One person, let's see, they bought one product, but they were shipped something else, and the company refused to give them a refund. All that they would do is give him a certain percentage off of his next purchase. Then, I heard from someone today who purchased the new table, and their table is defective, the top won't stay on. The company would not give him a refund, so he had to go through Amazon to do it. I do not like to hear that from any company, let alone One Tigris. But it is what it is. All that I could do is honestly review those products, share my thoughts, share the stories that you all share with me, and that's it. All right, everybody, that's a whole lot better. As far as the temperature goes, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I do have a thermometer here. Right now it says 52.2. I'll set this out and we'll see what it really is. Here in a little bit, everyone, dinner will be ready. And for dinner, it's breakfast. Jalapeno cheddar biscuits and herb sausage with gravy. Oh yeah. This stuff is expensive and it's delicious. And at the same time, it's nice to hold because it's so warm. You know, everybody, it's really not that cold tonight. 52 or something or other. But you have to think about the moisture in the air and convection and conduction. So basically everything around me is pulling heat away from me. So even at 52 degrees, I can have a fleece on in this jacket. And oftentimes I wear the same thing in the winter time. It's kind of funny, in the winter time when it's like 20 degrees, I'll be wearing the exact same thing. It's all about the conditions, and at the same time, it's what you're accustomed to. It's been a really warm summer, and now that it's cooling down a little bit, 52 degrees is cold, you know what I mean? Man, I sure hope that this is a good winter, right? I hope it gets cold, I hope it gets snowy. Will that happen? I don't know. I want to say that it's the Farmer's Almanac that's calling for a very cold, snowy winter up here in the mountains. Do I believe that? No. Not at all. They've definitely been wrong more times than not, but you never know. As for the conditions, it is super, super windy, as you all can hear. I mean, like really, really windy. Outside of the forest, easy 40 miles an hour plus. We really are lucky to be inside of the forest with this tarp set up, nice and protected. You never know. It may not even rain tonight, but at least we're out here in the wind, and that alone is exciting. You know what I mean? It's all about just being out in the storm. Rainstorm, thunderstorm, windstorm. To me, it doesn't matter. It's all about just getting out. Being able to like clear my head, you know what I mean? I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about what it's like to be out in the forest all by yourself. It's not something that a lot of people experience. The best way that I could put it is this. It's like having true freedom. Freedom that you do not have in your regular life, right? In your regular life, there's all sorts of restrictions, people holding you back, time restraints, money restraints. I mean, just all sorts of things holding you back from complete freedom. Out here in the forest, every decision is on you. You make every single call. You make those decisions, you hope for the best, and things play out the way that they play out. It's like coming out for this trip here. I'm making every single decision along the way. You know what I mean? I set up this tarp here. I put the tent over there. The conditions may change. The wind direction could change. I just heard a tree crack. As I mentioned, it is windy. Anyways, that's what it's like being out in the forest all by yourself, out in the middle of nowhere. Folks, we're out in the middle of nowhere. Do you hear any cars? No. Do you hear anything? No. The reason why is because we are out here in the middle of nowhere. That's exactly the way I like it. I don't want to hear vehicles. I don't want to see people. I don't want to see remnants of people or anything like that. Basically, this is a campsite that I've made here in the forest, and I love coming here. I mean, it really is like the perfect campsite. Now, speaking of which, I oftentimes get the question, why don't I put my tent underneath the tarp? Well, I would if I could, right? This is not the perfect campsite or a perfect campsite. I have enough space here for my tarp, but there's not enough space for the tent too. So, the tent really does need to go over there. Plus, there's roots and rocks and all sorts of stuff in the way. So that right there really is the best spot for a tent. This right here is the best spot for the tarp. The ground is pretty much sloped like this with a small little level spot. The level spot is where my stove goes. If you're at an established campsite that's really, really nice, that's been very well maintained and taken care of, you're likely gonna have enough space for your tarp and your tent underneath it. But out in the real world, when you're off trail, out in the middle of nowhere, when you're in the mountains, that is not how it's gonna work. Anyways, folks, here in a minute, dinner will be ready and I cannot wait. In the future, I will have to do an episode where I answer frequent questions. That is certainly a question that I get asked all the time. Why don't you put your tent underneath your tarp like other YouTubers do? Well, they're lucky enough to have level locations to go camping at, and oftentimes I'm off trail, I'm here in the mountains, nothing's flat, nothing's level, so this is as good as it gets most of the time. It is just how it is. Trust me, I wish this was level enough and large enough to have my tent underneath this tarp too, but it's not. I'm pretty sure dirt just fell into my meal. More like blown into it. Yeah, whatever. That is so good. Oh man. Oh woman, that is amazing. Just like a little bit of heat, not much. That's all I like, just a little. Let's see what we're looking at here. One serving, 770 calories. Total fat, 64%. Saturated fat, 120%. Sodium, 55%. Everything else, okay. A little while ago, I was talking about the type of camping that I like to do, out in the middle of nowhere by myself. That's what I like to do. You may like to do something else, and that's great. It's all about just getting out and having fun and doing it your way. That really is, in my opinion, what this entire channel is about. It's the joy that I get when I come out here. Not only am I having a blast filming these videos, but at the same time, I'm engaging with you all. I never feel like I'm alone out here, ever, you know? Not only am I out here with my thoughts and all that stuff, but I'm out here with you all 650,000 of you. Thank you so much for everyone for joining my channel here, watching these videos. I really do appreciate it, folks. I also appreciate biscuits and gravy, even though it has 120% saturated fat. Daily allowance of saturated fat. Whew. What brought that to my mind to even mention that is my buddy Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a friend of mine. He's on Facebook, a supporter on Patreon, and so on. We talk just about every single day. He made a comment to me a few weeks ago, and he said something along the lines of like, he's not a lone wolf, he wants to be part of a pack. And that stuck with me. That was a really interesting comment to make, and it's not something that I really think about all that often. I think about the trips that I'm going to do, what I'm going to share. I don't really think too much about like the trips that you're going on. You know, I don't know who you are, what you're doing, or anything like that. So that was an interesting perspective to have. He's right. Not everyone's like me. Not everyone is a lone wolf. Not everyone wants to be out here by themselves. And that really does take us back to what I said before. It's all about getting out your way. You know what I mean? Be part of a pack. Go solo. It's up to you. Greg, my friend, thank you so much for these meals. I really do appreciate it, buddy. These are not cheap. And so, again, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Greg is a viewer who has been supporting the channel for a long time. Without a doubt, one of the most generous people I think I've ever met. I guess, how do I say that? Met online or something. You know what I mean. A very good guy. Thank you so much. Good morning, folks. It is now 12:30 a.m. and as you all can see, we're up here in the clouds and already some very light rain is beginning to fall. Currently it's dripping from the trees and beginning to soak everything. So far it's light. It may continue this way, it may get heavier, we shall see. I just stepped outside of the tent here just to see what was going on. I was hearing some drips on the tent. The plan is pretty simple. I'm going to crawl back inside of the tent, basically call it a night, and I will see you all in the morning. Everybody, sleep good. I'll see you soon. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Here in a second, we'll check on the time. I believe it's a little bit after 6 o'clock. We have some good coffee in some very good conditions. And when I say good conditions, I mean bad. When I say good coffee, I do mean good. It is incredibly windy, very, very wet. I'm not entirely sure what time the rain moved in. I was sleeping, but I woke up around 4 and it was just coming down. Since then, it has continued. It is a very wet morning. We're up here in the clouds, and it is 6:33. This is exactly what I need this morning. As for last night, I slept great. The sound of the wind, the rain on the tent, it was nice. At the same time, that tent is fantastic. Not only is it lightweight, I love the color combination of it all, but the ventilation and airflow inside of that tent is top notch. So far, I'm very impressed with it. For the first night out in the tent, it did really well. It's so windy, everybody, that like needles keep being blown into my coffee. Already, the sun is coming up. It should be up in less than an hour. After that point, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. Have my coffee, probably break down the tent. As for last night, I ended up not watching anything, but rather I started reading a book. It's called Come With Me. The other day, Susie and I, we went out of town to a bookstore and I came across this. We don't have any bookstores in our town, too small. Anyways, I came across this book and so far it's rather interesting. If you want to read it with me, feel free to. It was under the horror section, but so far I don't know exactly what's going to be horror about it. I just couldn't come across anything good on YouTube last night. And it kind of feels like I haven't been able to come across anything good on YouTube for a while. Like, the typical channels that I follow, they're just not putting out content. It almost seems like these channels have dried up for the summer, so to speak. What do you all think? Have you noticed the same thing? Comment down below. While I'm thinking about it, folks, I need to do a few shout outs here. Barbara from Wells, I hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bill, my sneaky friend, I hope you're doing well. Also, let's see, there is an anonymous viewer who sent in a cutlery set, a blue one. There was no name in the package, nothing like that. Whoever you are, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Next, everyone, I have a warning to share. Recently, I had to have 3 fake scammer Facebook pages that were copying the Outdoor Gear Review shut down. Basically, they were reaching out to people, trying to get their information, trying to get their money. Anytime that I come across these scammers, I do my best to get them shut down. Recently, I had 3 done. In the past, maybe 100. 3 were shut down, 100, 1,000 more are coming, so you have to be careful. And that includes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, so on and so forth. Most people believe that these scammers are outside of the United States, but that's not always the case. Over the last 2 years, I've had 2 individuals arrested here in the United States for scamming people. One individual was from North Carolina, the other was from Oregon. At this point in time, I can't go into detail what's taking place here, but I will say this: if I can get these assholes, I will. And so far, I've had 2 arrested. These people are just dumb as bricks. It's unbelievable. Anyways, the point is, folks, you have to be careful. Do not give anyone your information. Do not give them your money. Nothing like that. I'm not going to offer you a present. I'm not going to talk to you on WhatsApp or Telegram or anything like that. As it stands right now, the only place that I do any sort of chatting with people is on Facebook on my page. You can send me a message and I will respond. Or, if you want to shoot me an email, you can do that. Or, if you're a Patreon member, you can shoot me a message there. As I mentioned before in the past, I'm no longer answering messages on Instagram. That site is just so full of junk and scammers, I'm just not going to put up with it. Every morning I wake up with like 200 messages of just garbage and scams. It's unbelievable. Anyways, everybody, the morning is coming on strong. Things are lightening up out there. I don't remember if I mentioned my sleep system last night, but what I'm using is the brand new Thermarest X-Therm sleeping pad, along with a quilt. It was a nice setup. My old Thermarest sleeping pad is getting quite old. Still performing perfectly, right? Incredibly lightweight, incredibly warm, and definitely better looking than this new model. This new model is almost like a light baby blue color. I personally don't like it. But it is comfortable, you know. That is without a doubt the best sleeping pad I have ever used. It's expensive, but it's incredibly comfortable, very warm, and it is without a doubt my favorite. I've tested out a lot of sleeping pads over the years, and nothing is better than that one. With the coffee being done, it's time to pack up. It's time to go home. My friends, I want to thank you very much for joining me for this trip. I really do appreciate it. If you had a good time, hit the thumbs up before you go. Oh yeah. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. There's new adventures there as well every single week. I need to put up the camera because it's about to get soaked. It's still raining pretty good, everyone. It is time for me to go. Strength and honor, be safe. I'll see you next week.